Right, hi guys, welcome to the screencast on the respiratory system. So you'll be glad to know that we've completed the cardiovascular system now and we've moved on to the respiratory system. So you don't need any Cornell notes for what we're going to be discussing today. I'm going to give you a worksheet in lesson which you're going to be able to complete with regards to the structure of the respiratory system, which is what we're looking at today's screencast. So first of all we need to know is the respiratory system provides oxygen to body tissues and removes waste products. So how does it do this? First of all, if you want to watch this video down here, this is the link to it. Feel free to go onto YouTube and that will give us the key functions of the respiratory system. It's a really simple video, a couple of minutes long. It'd be good for you guys to actually watch it and hopefully you'd understand the respiratory system a bit better. So what are the actual functions of the respiratory system? So first of all, the first function is pulmonary ventilation. Pulmonary ventilation is just another word or term, sorry, for inspiration and expiration, i.e. breathing in and breathing out. So that is how we get the oxygen on board, is by breathing in, and it's how we dispel or expel carbon dioxide waste product through expiring it, i.e. breathing out. So if you weren't too sure about the key terms, inspiration and expiration, let's just get those down now. And you just explain that inspiration is breathing in and expiration is breathing out. So that is one of the functions of the respiratory system. The other function is gaseous exchange. Now, gaseous exchange is we've just breathed in the oxygen and we have carbon dioxide in our body. Gaseous exchange is the exchange of gases at a point so that we can then expel the carbon dioxide and get the oxygen actually into our system, into our body at the working muscles which need the oxygen. So we are going to be looking at inspiration and expiration in one lesson and gaseous exchange in another lesson. So they're going to be two key lessons for us, and there will be questions in the exam on these two key points here. So first of all, how it links the cardiovascular system is it provides the link between the two processes of transporting the deoxygenated blood to the lungs, i.e. deoxygenated blood to the lungs and breathing out that carbon dioxide. That is how the respiratory system and the cardiovascular system actually link together. So what we're concentrating on today is the structure of the respiratory system. Okay, so this picture here, this diagram, involves the whole structure of the respiratory system. We also have a diaphragm which we're going to go and talk about when we actually talk about inspiration and expiration. First of all, the key terms I'm going to give you now, I just want you to write notes on, understand where they are in the body so that it makes talking about inspiration, expiration and talking about gaseous exchange a lot simpler, as it will give you an idea of how it all works with regards to the structures that are around the respiratory system. So the first one we're going to talk about, in fact I don't want to start talking about the trachea, we'll get all these key terms up. So we're going to start with the nasal cavity, which is pretty much where we breathe in, or how we breathe in oxygen from the outside. So through our nose we breathe in, and we just need to be aware that within our nostrils there's hairs that basically filter out dust, pollen and other foreign objects. You don't really need to get too much information with regard to that. You just need to know that we have our nasal cavity here, i.e. our nose, two passageways where we breathe oxygen in through our nose. Then we also have the pharynx, which is located here. Now the pharynx, commonly called the throat. Okay, so the pharynx is also known as the throat, and this is the passageway for food as well as air to actually pass through. Okay, so pharynx, throat, it's another way of getting air in. So nasal cavity and the pharynx are ways of getting air, oxygen into our system. Now next one we're going to talk about is the larynx, also known as the voice box, which is this one down here. That is all we need to know about it, and the fact that it has rigid walls of muscle and cartilage. So it's quite thick and it's quite strong and rigid. Like I said, we don't need to know loads about this. As long as you get the key terms down and you can acknowledge where they are, that is more important. Then we have the trachea, which is here, as you can see on there, and that is also known as the windpipe, and that's all you need to know about that. you have the epiglottis. Now the epiglottis is just before the larynx and the trachea, and what the epiglottis does, it's a flap essentially, and it stops food going down the trachea into the lungs. It makes food go down into the stomach as opposed to into the lungs. So that's the job or the function of the epiglottis. So it's a small flap of cartilage at the back of the tongue, and it just ensures that we don't swallow food down our trachea. Right, okay, the lungs, pretty basic, straightforward. They're an organ that allows oxygen to be drawn into the body. You've got the right and the left lung. They occupy most of the thoracic cavity. We're going to discuss the thoracic cavity in one of the lessons, so don't worry about that term for the time being. And they extend down to the diaphragm, which again we're going to be discussing in another lesson. All you need to know is that obviously left and right lung, and they allow oxygen to be drawn into the body. Then we have the bronchi, or bronchus, as this is called. So bronchi split into the left and right bronchi, and these just branch off the trachea and they carry air to the lungs. So this is where it gets to be important. So we have the bronchi, so air comes down here, and then from here it splits left and right into the lungs, and these split off into the bronchioles, and they're small airways that extend from the bronchi and connect the bronchi to small clusters of alveoli, which is the next part we're going to be going on to. So you've got the bronchi here, then all these tree-like features, as you can see, look, they're tree-like branches. These are bronchioles, and at the end of bronchioles we have loads of little air sacs known as alveoli. Unfortunately this picture doesn't do justice, but at the end of each one of these branches we have alveoli. Now the alveoli are important. Okay, so they are air sacs essentially. You have them in each lung, and there's millions of them. Okay, so approximately 300 million alveoli within the lungs, and these are responsible for the transfer of oxygen into the blood and the removal of waste product. So the alveoli is where gaseous exchange takes place. Now we know from our lessons within the cardiovascular system, gaseous exchange takes place at the capillaries. So around these alveoli, you have loads and loads of capillary networks around the alveoli, and this is where gaseous exchange takes place. This is where oxygen goes from the alveoli into the bloodstream, and this is where carbon dioxide goes from the bloodstream into the alveoli. Now, we're going to learn more about that when we discuss gaseous exchange in one of the lessons. So they're the key kind of structures with regards to the respiratory system. I don't want crazy notes on this, I just want you to understand the structure of it, so that when we come to talk about mechanics of breathing and gaseous exchange, it kind of makes sense to you what happens. I'll make sure that we get a better visual of alveoli so we know what it looks like, but we have seen the alveoli in class with regards to one of the pictures I've looked at before, so you should know that. So if you just get those down on the worksheet that I'll give you, I'll appreciate that. Thank you. Bye.